Hello and welcome to Master Manual, a practical guide for DMs, GMs, and just wanna BMs as well as other folks. This is a podcast where we answer questions and talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition as well as other role-playing games, but mostly from a DM's perspective. I'm Spencer Critton, and I'm coming to you live from the inside of my car where I'm driving to get Cohen for a very special recording of Master Manual: The Road, is I think Cohen's pitch for the title when we talked about this in the past. This is somewhat of a surprise. I'm trying to spring this on Cohen, and if all goes well, he will get in this car and we'll record. You don't know, but before we started doing a podcast, I bought like a little dinky recorder and I recorded myself just talking out of my ass while I was driving around, and it was very fun, but I hated it and I hated the output and I hated myself, and it made me want to keep podcasting, but I did not at all want to release that. So this is kind of all those chickens coming home to roost. I want to do it. Cohen had this idea independently. We both had the idea, it's worth exploring, that's what it's all about. That's what we're doing. We're making headway. We're making waves in the podcastosphere on the internetotron. But yeah, I'm rolling into some sort of geographic location. I don't want to be too specific, just out of respect. And I am entering, and we will see where Cohen is. What up?
What?
I'm recording.
You're recording?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay, hold on.
I'm going to get us settled. It's happening. We'll cut everything bad out.
All right.
Feel free to get yourself settled. I got this headphones. Yeah. So how's it going, Cohen?
It's going good. How's it going with you?
Oh, I think you got to talk more into the mic. You might have to put it on your lap or something.
All right.
You can also take it out of the handle if you want. I can't because I'm driving.
There we go.
Yeah, you hear that,
I
right?
just put
in your headphones?
I put it in my Johnson.
He's putting it in his Johnson, the ultimate location, and in all but ensuring we will be horribly disfigured in the event of a car crash.
That's why they call it sounding. Ha-cha-cha. That's
that's good. I mean,
thank you.
That was too good, too smart for the room of me. So what's up, man? How's it going? How's your weekend?
It's pretty good. I am recording a podcast sooner than expected. But
way sooner. Completely taken by surprise.
Yeah. So where are we going?
I don't know. Where do you want to go? Do you have any ideas? I wanted to stay away from high traffic areas.
Let's go to the Green Knight.
Okay.
The Emerald Knight.
The Emerald Knight. The most green it gets.
Yeah.
Anything can get.
All right. Let's do the things?
I don't know. I got some questions printed out, but
shit.
I don't know if you wanted to talk about D&D or nerd stuff in a general sense.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
You know what? Let's fucking do it. I love this. All right.
Yeah, I didn't know. I just wanted to have all the tools at our disposal so we could have a good try.
Yeah.
I got them printed up there.
Let me see what we got here.
And feel free to move. Yeah, you could adjust anything. So far, I've been shaking this stuff, and it's not been causing interference.
Yeah, I would say this is weirdly more stable than when we do this in the controlled environment of an office.
I know. I've had this idea. I don't know if it's a good one, but I'd like to try.
I like this sort of submarine-esque feeling of headphones while being in a car. I've always enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I think it's why I enjoy lift rides. All right. I'm going to start with a question. All right. Thieves Cant from Keebs. Hi, Spencer and Cohen. Let me start by making you uncomfortable by saying how much I like the podcast and how much I admire you both.
Thank you.
The reason I'm writing in is in regard to the rogue trait Thieves Cant. I've never seen it mentioned in a pre-built module. I've never experienced it in game. I've only ever heard of it being used in one other podcast, but I'm not sure how I agree with how they used it. I think I know what these podcasts he's talking about. Should a rogue be able to roll to find these secret symbols? Or if it's not explicitly mentioned or premeditated by the DM, is this a worthless trait? Otherwise, how should it be included in the game?
Right. So,
Cheers,
and
Keeps.
I did put a little leaflet or something that has a little blurb that
you sure
it
did.
has a bit of a blurb on what Thieves Cant is for the audience. I believe Thieves Cant is a rogue talent that a rogue can take. It's essentially there in 3rd edition and earlier editions. There was something called innuendo, which was a skill rank, and it was essentially just being able to talk in code where people couldn't hear you. So I would be like, "Hey, let's go to the store," and that actually means, "Hey, stab this guy we're both staring at."
Yeah,
and then they won't know. So that's like what it built out of.
So this printout says I believe this is from the current player's handbook.
Yeah, I think that yellow is from the 5e player's handbook.
A secret mix of dialect, jargon, and code allows you to hide messages in seemingly normal conversation. Only another creature that knows thieves can. I love that it's another creature. It's so inclusive. Can understand such messages. It takes 4 times longer to convey such a message than it does to speak the same idea plainly. In addition, you understand a set of... So let's tackle that first bit.
Right.
This means, slang, basically.
Right.
It's like for instance, if I were to go down to... Well, I guess this is sort of an antiquated expression. If I were to try to say buy marijuana...
Oh, damn.
I might use some sort of... hip parlance, such as I might refer to it as weed or grass.
Sure, of course.
Or the devil's hash or...
Hippie lettuce.
Yeah, or, dipshit burger.
Jazz cigarettes.
Finger rollins, lady fingers.
Blobby doodah.
Hot dub.
Fast Franks.
Dubs over subs.
Slow Sal's.
Slow Sal's, yeah. Slow Sal's is... I feel like Slow Sal's over Fast Franks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a perfect example. Basically it means it's like, yeah, you're not taking... I once heard somebody misunderstand this as like you just talk really slow, which is the most charmingly stupid thing
That's
I've ever
funny.
heard. But yeah, it means you're basically just incorporating slang. I would say that if you've never taken this trait, then it makes sense that you've never experienced it in game.
Yeah, and then the other thing is it's not just language, but it's also like, I don't know, the hobo symbols.
Yeah.
Is
In
kind
addition,
of the
a
concept.
set of secret signs and symbols used to convey short, simple messages, such as whether an area is dangerous or the territory of a thieves guild, whether loot is nearby, or whether the people in an area are easy marks, will provide a safe house for thieves on the run. So this
Right.
is something that my DM, Rich.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Rich Molina, he put into our game.
Talk about this.
Yeah, so in our city, in the city, Crown City, which is where sort of the central hub of our adventures, once Kate's character, Whisper of the Wind, a tabaxi, inquisitive,
Cool.
rogue, found like these symbols, and when she started looking for them, they were just all over the place, and they're like little symbols. They're just like carved in, and he actually like... The fun thing about this for roleplay is he actually made up what the symbols were and like had them drawn out, and then like after that we
Right.
could like find them on places and know some things before we went into places. So I think it's one of those things where it's like it's not hyper codified
Right.
in modules often because it's sort of situational, but it's the kind of thing that's very easy to tack on to
The
pre-existing material.
Yeah.
And it's like it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, if none of your players are a rogue who knows thieves can't, you don't really
Do it.
you don't do it because why would you? But it's super easy to layer on every inn they go into. It's like they can get a little bit of extra information before they go in.
Right.
Or if there are none, ooh, isn't this maybe that could be its own kind of sign.
Yeah, so like I think that the problem is just because it's like purely an RPG concept, you're not going to see it in any like built out in any way mechanically at all, which is usually the way that the game gives you hooks to use in the game. So like you need to have characters saying weird words that you write down and know what their meaning is if you're trying to slip it in, or like you said, you want to actually have these symbols defined so you can place them places.
I think that it's a great opportunity for role play. It's like just like we were just like the conversational thing, just like we were just having a fun time making up fun words for weed. If like one of your characters wants to know where oh hey, somebody was kidnapped. We got to find. Well, let's something a little less grim.
Somebody's food was stolen.
Yeah, somebody's food was stolen. We got to find the secret illegal food court where stolen food is taken and redistributed to the highest bidder. And it's like you'd sidle up to some rough looking customer, some sort of slick Susan, or or wily William, and you'd be like, "Do you know where somebody could find a hot lunch?"
A hot lunch.
A hot lunch.
It's innuendo.
Yeah, and they, you would convey to your DM beforehand, hey, I'm going to try to find out where the secret illegal food court is. and then you would say that.
Right, because that's the thing, is it's really kind of an elaboration on investigation and similar things, right? It's a new set of clues to access rather than beating people up for information or like using magic or something, you know?
Yeah, it's a new way to interface with basically the game of Dungeons and Dragons is that there is a list, sometimes there is a list of information that you want your players to get.
Right.
And it's finding interesting ways to give them those facts that are not just them beating them out of people.
And also meeting your players on the level that they want to access. So if they go thieves cant, then it's like, oh, now you can do thieves cant as a way to engage with your players, you know. So it's just kind of picking the pathways that you want to utilize.
This was also utilized in the podcast The Adventure Zone in an interesting way.
Oh yeah.
It was done a lich communicate an invisible lich communicated thieves cant into someone's hands, into someone's hand to like tell them like wait or look over here, and then it was neat.
Yeah, that sounds badass.
Yeah.
When I was researching this question, I just Googled thieves cant and found like basically like the thieves cant homepage, and it had some like it had the sidebar that clicked into like feats and all this related content. It had a list of like jargon. It said a shoulder tap is thieves cant for backstab, and so like maybe that's a resource. I can link that. But
neat. Yeah. That's fun. It's always fun. It's always fun when something like this gives you a chance to really expand on like it's your own little slice of that D&D multiverse, and you can throw whatever you want in there.
The world building.
We are right now. We are in front of the Empire Center, which has the target that I was working at for a while.
Oh yes, that we've talked about on the pod. Do you want to egg it?
No, because it's. Eggs are expensive, and it's a large building. And you know what? God bless them for, well, I don't know.
God doesn't have to bless him. He's busy.
God ignore them.
God, do what you're doing. You're doing fine. You're not doing fine, but...
Do you want to throw down some Helga Cruciform real quick?
All right. Helga Carciform.
Helga Carciform, yes. All right. David's Bridal.
Cherry Avalon.
Hometon Buffet,
Steamton Wiggins,
Wendy,
Harold, Kumar,
Wendy Verizon,
Expressio Pandaris,
Best Buy Michaels,
Chris P. Cream,
Tilio Staples,
Wally Mart,
Courtyard Marriott,
Courtyard Mary, Terrence the Stone Wielder,
Burbanko Boulevard,
Yo-Yo Light, the Yo-Yo Man,
Ender Roadwork,
Donosius Enter,
Amalia Shelter. These would be really fun if you had the visuals.
Oh yeah, but without it, almost useless.
Lake Street. No, that's
Cosimo Mosimo,
Desiree Door Window,
Fairly the Brother,
MacDonald.
And that was Helga Carciform.
Let's go through the drive-through.
I don't know about that.
No?
Let's do that towards the end. We can maybe end on that.
All right, that's fair. All right, do you?
They'll be really mad or something.
Question up? You want to do another question?
Well, did you do any D&D related stuff this week?
Yeah, I was gonna do that really cool thing where I like ran the thing as the character, as my character. We were gonna.
Oh yeah.
Because I was going to do the thing where I was running a DM I was DMing a one shot within a campaign that I'm playing in, and my character was going to be the DM, and the other characters made characters that their characters would like to make, and our DM made a character as an NPC, and then I got so sick I couldn't get out of bed for like 2 days.
No.
So instead, and I was still going to try to do it, but Kate and also the rest of the group was like, you don't have to.
Yeah.
And that's a great example of if you have to cancel on DMing or on playing, give people at least 24 hours notice if you can.
Oh, yeah.
It's just nice to give people a little more notice than none at all.
People
and I did
have to generally make sacrifices to their schedule to make D&D work regularly. So it's, when people are doing that, it definitely is helping out to give some notice.
Can we do the whole episode like this?
Yeah, that was my point, that was my plan. Unless it started feeling bad, at which place we would just retreat and either pause or just start over.
Yeah, no, I think we should keep doing it.
All right.
What about you?
I'm driving towards Emerald Knight because I forgot that was our destination until about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, is it a good ways away?
No, but once we get there, we'll probably just pass it or something.
Yeah. Well, I thought it would might be interesting to go in and each get like pause for a second,
right?
Go in, make a quick purchase, and then come back in and talk about our little purchases.
All right.
Like something small. I don't know.
Okay, and then we're going to McDonald's,
or I don't know. I'm trying to give destinations.
I'm down for everything. We could do it.
I think that might be a fun bit.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't really do anything nerd related at all. I think
that's not true.
There's been magic stuff happening lately. I don't know. I've been following Magic the Gathering.
Oh, so you're sort of following the gathering.
Oh yeah. So
they're gathering you.
Yeah, I'm being gathered.
Yeah, nice.
No, I mean, I'm a big ooze guy. I have an ooze deck. I like oozes. Yeah. There's a new ooze that came out that I was excited about, but it's it's like just a generally good card in addition to being an ooze. So now it's like priced at $12 or something.
What's the name of this card?
Biogenic Ooze.
What's it do?
It's an ooze that makes other oozes bigger, and then it can also make oozes. So that's great for an ooze deck, but since it makes other oozes, it's also just good in general. So it goes in every deck, and so now it's expensive.
Yeah, sort of so it's like it crossed the threshold of being so good that it's good for everyone. So it's a little too. Do you wish it were a little worse?
Yeah, that's the problem I'm having with Magic cards lately these days. Is there's ones that so there's the three kinds of players that they talk about: Johnny, Jimmy, Timmy, and Spike. And I don't want to get into that, but the Johnny's like crazy weird cards, and they've been making Johnny cards more powerful, and so they're weird cards, but then they're just strong enough to be in tournaments, and so then everyone uses them, even though they're like quirky and they really play to the sensibility of the weird kind of Johnny player. And I just hate it because all these cards that used to be exactly in my wheelhouse and they would be like 25 cents because no one would use them because they weren't great, are now 10 and 15 and $40. And it's like, well, these are fun, interesting cards, but they're just so strong in tournaments that
the economy of this is interesting to me because it's like you basically are taking it for granted that you are not going to just buy packs and get cards and hope to get the cards that you want.
Yeah. I mean, once you level up, that's the case, yes.
Yeah. Leveling up is you've leveled up.
Well, it's just like because you don't start the game playing or thinking that way, but it's the truth. So sooner or later you come to the realization that, that's the optimum way to be spending money in the hobby.
You just sorry. You just look at the list of cards when they come out and what they do, determine which ones you want, and you take from them as a sort of an epicure might select just from a mass of cheeses, might select the exact one that has the perfect hardness and rind.
Yeah, and they sell
really lits your wick.
And they sell what do you call it? I forgot. Oh well.
What do they sell?
I don't know.
They don't sell anything.
I guess not.
Deck builder boxes.
Yeah,
that's the one thing I know of that they sell.
Well, no, they sell entire sets. So, like, you could get 4 copies of every card in a set, pre-curated, already collected for you, for about what it costs to buy a bunch of booster boxes. So,
does Magic sell this?
No, it's second market. Or
when you
whatever.
Say they, okay,
the world,
the vultures, who stand on the backs of gods.
That's a good place to be if you think about it.
If you're on God, if
you're a vulture.
I don't know what a vulture is.
Yeah,
well, I guess vultures would just sound like Skeksis from the Dark Crystal.
Skeksis.
Yeah.
Skeksis. Doesn't that actually mean something?
Probably. It means big, gross Jim Henson vulture monster.
I feel like it means I'm thinking of cathexis.
What's that mean?
I don't know. These are all these words that I don't know, but they just rattle around in my head, making themselves known.
That's language, baby.
Just a bunch of sounds.
That's alchemy. All right. I think it's time for another question.
Okay.
Let's go.
Hell
all
yeah.
Right. This one's from David B. Hey, Spencer and Cohen. My players love dungeon diving. What is something interesting and unique that I can use in my dungeons to change things up? Thanks for the great podcast, David B. Oh, you know what? You know what I like that is in dungeons that I feel like I have not had the opportunity to engage with a lot, but I find interesting. It's a feature of mega dungeons more is when you... If a dungeon seems to have almost its own ecosystem, like if there are monsters in a dungeon, if you can find a way to make, or like creatures, you know, like humanoid creatures, like maybe like bugbears or kobolds or something, and this is really delved into in Volo's Guide to Monsters, where it talks about like how to role play kobolds and like what their whole deal is. If you can make the monsters in a dungeon seem like they can actually make sense living there, like it's not just like, well, here's a dungeon and there's a mummy in it, as it turns out, or like, there's a bear, like some kind of like almost like a system. Like if you're like, there's lichen, and the ringworms eat the lichen, and the kobolds harvest the ringworms,
right?
Or like something like that. Like I'm not really getting like.
No, it's a purpose for the things and the elements that brings them together, like a centering theme is essentially, or not even theme, but a centering like concept.
Yeah, exactly. Like so often we explore castles that exist because they are the. I think this comes from video games a lot. Is like we're sort of conditioned to view these dungeons as places that have been crafted for us to explore.
Definitely.
And if you can make a place seem like it exists independent of the character's interaction with it, I think that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's because it's its own thing. It hints at the world building and the larger universe that they're exploring, and not just laying it plain. They're playing a game, and here's the level. I think in the Mad Mages Undermountain, or whatever the hell that module, I've been reading it recently, and a lot of their dungeon levels, they have an aftermath section, which is like, this level has these goblins and these orcs, and if you kill all the goblins, then the orcs take over, and the next time they come back, it might be full of orcs. But it talks about like the ramifications of the actions your players have
really cool.
on that exact ecosystem, like you're referring to.
I might snap that book up while we go.
Oh yeah, that'll be a good one. I actually got that at the very Emerald Knights to which we are driving.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So
that's sort of what I'm thinking is like, if you can have two conflicting forces in a dungeon who are in some kind of flux. And if you can tip the scales one way or the other, maybe choose one side to side with, or at the very least, like, if we team up on these orcs, then the goblins will be able to overwhelm them, and we can deal with goblins,
right?
Something like that.
Yeah, it just kind of adds more to the world.
Also, maybe just like a big sentient eyeball that's just in constant pain because it's very sensitive and it's just sitting on the ground.
That
would
cool.
Be unique.
Yeah, I like that. I think that. So that's the real answer, really, is the big eyeball. One thing I like about video games that I don't see in a lot of D&D dungeons is like making choices in a dungeon that change the layout and the structure of the dungeon. Obviously, like in Zelda, there's the water temple and you raise the water level.
Oh, yeah. Famously accessible and enjoyable experience.
But those kinds of levels, the idea, it's like, I flipped this switch and now like the bottom layer is like, now it has spikes or something. And the idea that it kind of changes the places you've already been somehow. And it kind of makes it again kind of keeps relevance, even though it's just dungeon rooms, being shuffled.
Yeah, making the players feel that their choices are having an impact on the world and themselves going forward.
Right.
And even in the short term. This isn't really relevant, but I want to tell you a fun story. We caught when we were invading a castle. We were sneaking into a castle, and in the basement of the castle there was a flaming skull, and those things are
cool.
Difficult. Yeah, they're really cool, but the thing is, the castle and the surrounding castle town was completely inhabited by bandits. So when we beat the flaming skull, the thing about flaming skulls, as I learned from an Arcana check, is that they come back to life after an hour.
Yep.
So what we did was, I was like, here's what we got to do. let's just like drop. Let's just Emerald Rogue. Just I was like, get on. Let's drop this skull surreptitiously on one of those thatched roofs outside, and then in about an hour, it's just going to go buck wild and burn down just start attacking,
right?
All crazy style. So basically, we took the guard dog off its leash, and then it did that, and then but the thing is, after that, it just sort of tore off into the woods, and as we were making our way back to the city from from this castle that we had invaded and killed everyone in, or fleed and then taken over, and we found like just a swath of destruction, and we ran across this little forest druid who we'd met. He was like, there was like a flaming skull who was like tearing his way around and said that he had been unbound and now nothing could stop him, and we're like, oh, that sounds rough.
Yeah. Tough luck, buddy.
Yeah, but it's like kind of thing. It's like that might come up again. That might be a problem later for us.
Yeah, like a king went mad. He's like, there was a flaming skull, I swear.
It's always fun when when there's payoff for positive or negative for the choices that you've made.
Because that gets into what makes D&D more interesting or compelling than video games, because there is that real literal consequences that can't ever be accurately mapped by binary diagrams and trees and stuff.
No, because like the most intuitive and clever idea that you can have in a video game is to figure out something that the designers put in there for you to figure out.
Right.
It's like, oh, you had the because it's like truly lateral thinking within a video game isn't possible, because you have to. I mean,
unless you break the game.
There's exploits. There's things that the designers didn't anticipate the systems happening. But I think we're talking about narratively.
Right.
Like it's hard for that to work. Mm-hmm. At least in the system of a closed single player game. Like if they do expansions or that kind of thing, it's possible to iterate on a game.
Right. Well, you know what that means.
What's that mean?
It's time for a break.
Oh, it's time for a break.
Yep.
Here, because we're going to go into...
Got to keep the car running. Hey, Cohen, how often does this happen to you?
What's that?
You're fighting an enemy, but his weapon can pierce anything but emerald armor.
Yeah, it happens a lot when I'm fighting the Emerald Dragon, when I'm fighting Emerald, the rogue in our party whose name sounds like Emerald. Yeah, it happens. The Green Ganker.
The Green Ganker, of course.
Yeah.
And who can forget the Chartreuse Chanteuse? That's why Emerald Knight presents Emerald Knight's Emerald Body Armor.
Wow, I'm sorry. You're talking about the green gem, but it's covering your whole body protectively?
Not just the green gem. This is a green gem that's enchanted and strengthened by magic, and some say it comes from another world.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit, indeed. And not just because I'm currently parallel parking.
Like a king, like a god might.
Oh, no.
You're very good at this.
That's because Emerald Knight's Emerald Body Armor gives you +5 to driving checks.
Spencer drives like he was born and raised in Los Angeles.
And I was.
Which is to say he is very good at parallel parking.
At least simple parallel parking where you don't have to go between cars.
Now, I hope that we're going to go into this Emerald Knights. It's a little shop. It's on Burbank Boulevard.
Wearing our Emerald Knights brand body armor.
That's true. And we're going to see if they have any little things to purchase. And then we're going to talk about our little purchases. So
this doesn't seem related to the ad.
Oh, it's sort of a really good ad, though, for Emerald Knights, isn't it?
Not for Emerald Knight's body armor.
Oh, right.
Which offers +7 armor class.
+7 armor class. That's really broken.
Or your money back.
Well, I don't know about that's sort of really. Does it have any like restrictions or penalties to?
It has spell resistance.
That's just makes it even stronger. This is an unbalanced piece of armor. I don't know if we can in good faith sell this.
Well, that's why it's only 14 million gold pieces.
Okay, well that's fair. So you basically need the wish spell to get this.
A wish spell, a demon, you could steal it.
Steal it from you know what? Steal it from Tiamat.
Steal it from Tiamat with Emerald Knights Emerald Body Armor. Use the promo code Emerald Knights.
And if you don't know, now you know. You know.
And we're back.
We are back.
How'd you feel? Yeah.
I sure did enjoy the suite of products available at Emerald Knights. We did not tell them what we were up to, and that we had there was a nice man who asked if we were there for the figure painting class.
Oh, yes. He asked us twice.
Yeah, I think he was nervous that there weren't going to be people, but
yeah,
at the end there were people. I was really hoping there would be.
I was almost as nervous as he was that there wouldn't be any people, but then they all appeared and there was a full table, and then all of that time spent worrying was a waste.
Yeah, we had an overdose of empathy on behalf of a stranger.
Yep. Because we're just good people.
We're so good.
We love talking about it.
So what'd you get?
Yeah, we popped into Emerald Knights, our local comic book game store.
The only one in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it has awards, or they put on the wall that it has awards. Which why would anyone lie about that? Who would have any reason to? But no, I like them. I have a membership there, and we went in. We were checking out. You were maybe thinking about getting some Pathfinder pawns.
Yeah, so this is something that Rich, my DM, has. He's got the big box of Pathfinder pawns.
Now, what are those?
So, as opposed to, as you know, I'm gearing up to run a campaign. Gearing up. I've been gearing up for a while to run Horde of Tiamat, or Horde of the Dragon Queen.
Right.
Yeah.
Who is Tiamat?
Yeah.
Tiamat.
You're saying that she is Tiamat. Not
yep.
You're not asking me.
No. I'm clarifying for the audience of idiots.
It's the god of evil dragons. Okay, so the thing is, I'm looking at it, so I'm like, I want it to have some sizzle, some spark. I don't want to just come in there, coming in swinging like a chump. So I'm buying the maps that were done by the person who did it, and we can link that page, I think.
So what's that now?
It's the maps that are the Horde of the Dragon Queen map. The person who did the maps for the book has put them available online for purchase. Very reasonable. I think it's like $20 for all of them.
Wow.
For like high res DM and player versions.
Oh, damn! So that's to double.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, there's the versions with all the little notes for the DM, and there's the one that you can put out for your players that doesn't have like egg zone or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get those, I'm going to print those nice. But I was thinking, do I want to do miniatures? Do I want to? Because that's as we've talked about before, that's a pretty big commitment. Especially, I don't own any to start with. I feel like that's the thing. You can build your set, but
you have to have that set.
Yeah.
And you don't, which means you have to build it, and then it's not a perfect set, which means you have to keep perfecting it forever every time you have any ideas.
They did have a thing in there that I think I'm going to take advantage of at key moments, which is they rent minis.
Yeah, that was cool.
And Emerald Knights, so they have a Tiamat, so when the time comes, I might bust out and rent that just for fun. I think if they're especially, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to get this Pathfinder box
of pawns,
which are little cardboard, nice printed, lots of different monsters. It's like in the box, it's like 250 in a box for I think about like $40.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of pawns you get. They're like little, like, what do you call it? Card stock punch out little shapes that have little plastic stands,
and
right?
It comes with a bunch of stands.
Like game pieces.
Yeah, and it comes with a bunch of stands. For like a board game from the 90s.
Right.
They're really good quality. Rich uses these a lot, and they really make things pop.
Nice art.
Yeah, nice art. They're not necessarily like one-to-one, like, oh, it's a bar guest, because it's Pathfinder, not D&D, but Pathfinder is sort of derived from 3rd edition.
Yeah, it's like 0.9 to 1.
Yeah, so they're very similar. I've never been like, oh, what is that? Because he'll put out. They also have multiples of things that are you'll run into a lot. So it's like, oh, here's the 6 goblins,
right?
And maybe they look more like kobolds, or maybe they look more like whatevers. But you get it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's. I think I'm gonna invest in the box, in a box of one of those, maybe, because I think that would be a good thing going forward to have. They're very versatile. Is the thing that I've found. Like,
it's a good intro to minis.
Yeah, I think it's a good for the price of getting like 20 unpainted minis if I was lucky. Or no,
probably
for maybe
less.
like 10 unpainted minis if I was lucky. I could get 250 of these. They look gorgeous. And none of my players are going to have minis either, so it's kind of
Everybody wins.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that's the problem that minis present, is you can't just get the full kit out of the box.
Yeah.
And this is literally that. So.
Which is, I tried to look around because I thought, oh well, this is a pre-existing campaign. Maybe they have these minis, available, and it's like they kind of did a couple of years ago, but they were also they were only available in like blind bag form, or like here's 6 random characters from across the entire campaign, or here's a bag, maybe it's got a kobold, maybe it's got a cultist.
Yeah, which can be fun if you don't know what you want, but also can end up being not helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you get at the store?
Well, just before I lose it, I was just thinking that I had a correction to address, or to issue. I'm issuing a correction.
Okay.
I recently talked about the Waterdeep module purchasable in Roll20. I specifically talked about how it was missing like half the fucking book. Very frustrating. I ran it. Very frustrating, especially because you run a module starting with the beginning, and that was the part that was missing. Turns out that there's just some fuckery. I don't know. I'd say it's halfway between I didn't know what Roll20 was when I started, and halfway between it wasn't super clear, and it was definitely possible to do this the broken way when it should instead be not possible to do it the broken way and only possible to do it the right way. But turns out there is those chapters. They're just somewhere else, and it's hard to find, and I don't know. You have to like open the game a different way, but I checked it out. It actually was really cool. It has all of the PCs as little tokens with their names and their stat blocks and stuff in the beginning, and then it has a bunch of really useful references that center you. All the stuff I was very much missing and complaining about.
Oh wow, we should do a tweet about that.
Yeah,
you should issue a retraction.
Oh yeah, no, this is that.
I know, but we should do it like soon because this isn't going to come.
No, this will come out. This will come out in a couple days.
Oh yeah, so yeah, because another reason, because I was sick, we didn't record. We normally record on Tuesday evenings.
On a cheerful Tuesday evening.
But this is a sultry Saturday.
Yeah.
Noontime, and we are going to get some McDonald's now.
It goes down in the AMs. Where are we driving?
McDonald's?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what'd you get at the store?
Okay, I got 2 themed guild boosters. I guess this is a new thing that they have where for each of the guilds of Ravnica that they released in the set of Magic, you can buy a booster specifically full of guild-based cards. So last set, they did that with the old guilds, but they did a slightly different one where I think they picked through the years all the old Ravnica sets and just cards from those guilds. So you could get a card from the first Ravnica or the newest Ravnica, but it was all in the guild, and it was pre-selected to make sure you got value. It had a dice, it had a sticker, it had some a bit more expensive cards. This is just like more of a booster. It's random cards, mostly commons and uncommons, and then 1 rare or mythic rare or whatever. But it's twice the cost of a booster, and it's guaranteed to be in the guild. So I like Simic, the blue-green guild, and I picked up a pack, got all the cool blue-green cards, probably most of the ones that I want from the entire guild of Simic, so I don't really need to buy a lot of paper Magic cards because I have most of the ones that I want.
Neat.
Yeah, then I bought a bundle.
Neat. What's in the bundle?
Like 6 boosters. That's like a basic chunk of Magic. When you buy Magic cards for value, you usually buy booster boxes. That's the best value. The second best value is probably in the bundles.
I like buying booster packs because I'm a dumbass.
No, it's good. Well, booster box is the booster packs. It's just the cheapest price, bulk cost.
I like to play Magic with Spencer's decks, and also I like to collect the cards from Ixalan.
Yeah,
that is the axis on which I enjoy the game, Magic the Gathering. I have found my bliss. I bought 2 booster packs. I wonder what I got.
They call him Cretaceous Cohen, the Dino Dude.
That's what they call me.
That's what all
in the bordellos and the cafes.
That's what those people who are selling that thing I was talking about.
I got
earlier.
Ryle. That's good. That's pretty.
I don't know
common.
if that's a good. Yeah.
Shining Aerosaur. Got my 9th of those. Let's see. Fathom Feet Cutthroat. She's cool. Depths of Desire. Ooh. I wonder if this pairs with like Despair. That's neat.
Depths of Desire.
Yeah.
It could.
Oh yeah. I feel like it's like a person in a boat, and I know there's like a Despair card. Let's see, I got River Herald Spoon. It's all about, you know what though? It's all about getting to that. It's all about getting to the dang old rare, isn't it?
Oh,
isn't that what it's really about?
Well, it's really about building the anticipation until that point.
Oh, Vance's Blasting Cannons.
That looks cool.
Legendary enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. If it's a non-land card, you may cast that card this turn. Whenever you cast your third spell in a turn, you may transform Vance's Blastin Canada. Oh, there's a thing on the...
Oh, I like that card.
Oh, shit. Spitfire Bastion, a legendary land. Oh, this is neat.
And what's it do?
If you tap it for 2 fire, it deals 3 damage to a target creature or player, but it's also a land. And I got a neat vampire token. I like vampires. This Ixalan was sort of perfectly primed to get me into this because it's vampires and dinosaurs, and that's going to do it for me.
And
and pirates. And pirates.
Yeah.
It's busy. It's very. I think I would describe the blend as Chris Hastings. My friend Chris Hastings is what it is. It is Dr. McNinja. It is a lot of mid-aughts 2000s internet concepts that you think that are very well executed in Congress together.
I'd say it's splashy, flashy, and trashy.
A little bit trashy.
Oh, sassy.
Yeah. Trashy was right. That's flashy, trashy.
No, I don't know. The
It's
third.
good. That's my aesthetic. That's what I want to.
I think that's a good aesthetic for you.
Yeah.
Snapping open another pack of.
We're doing this live on the air.
Oh yeah,
this is fun. This is a fun encounter.
It's certainly fun for us, but will it be fun for them? Tell us. Let us know. This is obviously experimental intentionally. So if you're going to be like, why didn't they do things in the order they normally do? We're driving.
Queen's Agent, Brazen Buccaneers. I got some more cards.
Spike-tailed
Ceratops. Ooh, I got a notebook like old school. I got some I actually got those at the Green Knight as well. I like to put the cards in the sleeves in the order of which the set order at the bottom, and then I put them where they go. And I have blank spaces for the cards that I don't have. Ooh, can you see that? Can you see that?
No.
A little shiny in there.
No, I'm looking at the road.
Oh, okay. Oh, I got a rare Sanctum Seeker. When a vampire you control attacks, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Wow, that's really good.
Oh yeah.
Who else? I got a shiny land.
Sometimes you get a foil card as well.
I got a foil island card. That's a good one to get, right?
Classic.
Because I can put that in any blue deck I use forever.
Every blue deck you use forever.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a hassle, though. But, so...
Neat.
Do you want to answer another question?
I think so. I think I do.
Or do you just want to do an animal?
Where are we at?
Well, I think we could do either one, honestly.
Let's do one more question, because I think the next one was pretty good. Oh, yeah. Hey, Spencer and Cohen. What do y'all put in your session 0? What are the most important expectations for everybody at the table to share? Thanks. DM Dummy in Durham.
Do you have any thoughts?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't do a lot of session 0, so I'm interested to listen.
So I like to, as best I can, if it's possible, especially if you're playing with people who haven't played before, help them do their character sheets before you play the first time. Mm-hmm. Either if it's just hanging out with them or just texting, walking them through it. I mean, if they have the player's handbook, or you can send them PDFs of the player's handbook.
We just drove by a horse.
Yeah. You can send them. Just help them get a sense of what their character is before they're having to do it in front of several other people.
Right.
And if you do that, you can start to figure out where they're going to be in the campaign on your own.
So is that a session 0 or even like a session -1?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like I think that a lot of people do this at their session 0, and I think it's best to try to knock out as much of it as you can beforehand.
Yeah, I really dislike having a group of players who haven't played together, or who haven't actually started the game, talking to each other about what each other should pick. There's a lot of influence that people accidentally or intentionally put on other people, where someone will say something like, oh, I'm a bard, so maybe you should be a barbarian. It's like all of that stuff is pretty not helpful usually. You should just kind of let people do what they want and then work it out. So I think what you're saying really leans into that pretty hard, where you're giving them a place to jump off of in session 0.
Yeah, you can encourage and help them play the character that they want, as opposed to play the character that they think they are supposed to be. Right. It's a common thing. People have this idea that the party needs to be balanced.
It's gameplay mindset.
Yeah, and because of that, people find themselves like, oh, well, I guess I'll be a healer, Not to say there's anything wrong with being a healer, but you should be a healer because you want to be a healer.
It's more just that gameplay mindset isn't conducive to what you're trying to do, because it's not like, oh, I'm playing checkers and I want to win. It's like, oh, I want to be myself and be comfortable in this character I'm playing. So it's maybe more like I'm picking an improv choice or something. It's like, it's very different than traditional game thinking, but it's very common for people to come into it with game thinking.
Although sometimes, like, if you've already done this with a few other people, somebody might ask, hey, well, what is already in the party?
Right.
Because maybe what they want is to not be something that's already in the party. And that's fair, too.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say, like, it must totally be done in isolation and it must be random.
Yeah, there's something subjective about all this stuff where it's like almost anything we say, the opposite is also true in certain contexts. So,
yeah, but this is easier if you're playing with people who you already know. But and again, this is a thing that's easier to do when you're not at a table, like putting people on the spot in front of them, but like getting a sense of what people's boundaries are, what they're comfortable and not comfortable with. So this is something that might be easier to do when, again, not when you're sitting down with 4 people for the first time, but asking people what their boundaries are, what they're comfortable with being in a game and not being in a game. Just a loose sense, because it can be very subjective. Some people might be okay with murdered children, but any hint of domestic violence is very upsetting, because a lot of this comes down to, and the other, the opposite might be true. Right. Somebody might be okay with somebody having an evil vampire with a psychic harem of 1,000 people, but like if one kid gets hit, they're very upset. And this, I'm not positioning this as like these people are irrational. I'm saying like this is utterly subjective. It comes down to people's experiences, and if you're getting into a thing where you're asking people to put a lot of themselves into a character and experience, it can be helpful to have the ground rules before you are 5 sessions in and you present something that people might not be comfortable with.
Right. So like in Apple speak, they call it setting expectations, but that's what we're talking about essentially, is you want to see what people's expectations of the game are, if they're like, what their sensibility is, what you're saying, what their boundaries are, is like a really extreme version of an expectation,
Yeah.
But I think that's a really important thing. If you have an idea of where you want the game to go or to start or to be, I think it's important to like give a little bit of that to give them something to latch onto and start to think about, is maybe a good grounding. Like, oh yeah, this is going to be Waterdeep, and Waterdeep has a lot of laws. So if you're thinking about just openly being a crime lord who's just murdering people in broad daylight, well, that's not really going to fly, because you'll just get arrested. And so that would be good to know.
Yeah. But like, it's the classic, you don't want to yes and, but you can no but.
Right.
You can tell them, it's like, oh, well, there is a rich and storied criminal element.
Yeah, they just aren't committing a lot of open violence in the streets because they know, that's the thing. There's pathways to work within the system of laws.
Yeah, you got to work around it. You got to be sneaky. Or you can, you could do like a bank, like a heist, but the most successful heist might be one in which they never even knew you were there at all.
Exactly. Which is an outcome of Waterdeep Dragon Heist, a possible one, but not the likely one.
Yeah. I've heard some people saying that there's not a heist in Waterdeep Dragon Heist.
Not really. There's technically, like, I don't want to give too much spoilers, but it's like there was a heist, and because there was a heist, you have an opportunity, and that's what you're pursuing. But you're not setting up, like, you're not having to.
It's not an Ocean's 8 style.
Yeah, exactly. You're not watching wagons and security patrols. That's kind of what I expected and was excited about, and it's not that at all. It's very good. Don't get me wrong, but it's just not. You're not doing a crime.
But you can, right?
Yeah, you definitely can, but it's not like here we are, we're getting the crew together to do this heist. It's exactly not that.
Yeah. Although they do have like the dungeons of the different villains in there, right? Too.
Yeah, because those villains are trying to also get stuff, and they have their own places where they're doing their stuff.
It's my understanding that the art style of the maps is a little different in Dragon Heist. It's a little more representational.
So in the module that I used on Roll20, the maps that they used are mostly hand-drawn maps that are taken out of the book pages.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of other maps are sometimes full-on dungeon tiles where it's like the grass looks like grass. But this is like, here's a line indicating this building and here's a line indicating this wagon. But it's not like you're not seeing a wagon and then a broken cobblestone street or something, you know.
I think that's an interesting shift.
Sure.
Because that's something that, like, for instance, looking at what I'm looking at now, I think that. So I'm.
What are you looking at now?
So, like, Horde of the Dragon Queen. I'm doing this build. I'm sort of doing this, like, okay, I'm going to track down these PDFs. I'm going to print it off. I'm going to have to load it in Photoshop so that they print out at 1:1. Because you can have these beautiful maps, but if you don't, like, if you just have something that's a little simpler, that's easier for someone to say maybe trace or recreate on a grid. If you don't have all the filigree and detail, that might be easier. We are going down these switchbacks down the.
This is Griffith Park.
We're in Griffith Park.
Lower Griffith Park.
There's a guy on a bicycle. There's a guy with a dog, a beautiful dog. We were passing the Mineral Wells picnic area,
and the kids and families playing within it.
It looks like some kids are playing soccer, and there's like 8 soccer balls on the field, so I think they need a referee.
It's some multi-ball madness action on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
We just passed some sort of nature conservancy facility. I don't know what it is. I would love to work for Griffith Park. You know? I love this place.
Yeah, it is really nice. It would be a great place to do some LARPing.
Oh, yeah. And people do... Oh, I was not LARPing. People definitely do LARPing, but people do like a big Nerf war every so often here, apparently.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Come out here with those swords we got.
Mm-hmm. Blasting asses.
Yeah.
Do you want to...
Blasting asses.
Do you want to do blasting asses for the masses?
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's an episode title. Do you want to do some alternate monster lore?
Yeah, I do. And you know what? We passed that horse paddock earlier, little horses, and you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to do centaurs.
All right. So let's see. Centaurs are savage but somewhat civilized men, half men.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, no, but that's like sometimes they're depicted as very civilized and sometimes they're depicted as like carnivorous, man-eating, like monstrous people. But yeah, horse bodies, upper body of the male, obviously.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have horns.
Yeah, they got sort of I guess like a lot of it is, I think of it as like Harry Potter-esque. They sort of some mysticism to them. They know some stuff.
Astronomy. That's what I keep coming back to, is these very specific Harry Potter tropes, which Harry Potter tropes often subvert more traditional takes on mythology and creature mythos. Not
a lot of vampires in Harry Potter.
Nope. Was there any?
There was
probably talked about.
There was Professor Quirrell had run into one, and there was one at one party, and that was pretty much it. I think she leaned away from vampires.
But that's the thing is, like, all of the tropes they hit, they tried really hard. Like the merfolk were very different from standard mer people. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, there was. Okay, so.
Let me just do a brain connection really quick. Someone said that we should do a sentient guillotine as an alternate monster lore, and it made me think of, like, it is a guillotine, but like it's possessed by the spirits of the vengeful dead that it killed, and so like when your head gets chopped off by it, it like goes into a basket and becomes like part of this chorus of evil heads that kind of controls the guillotine.
Oh, I like that.
That's basically the whole idea. So I mean, I just wanted to say that.
I like that.
All right. Centaurs.
Oh, no, I'm thinking about that guillotine.
Do you want to
see my read was the Guillotine, which is it's a shitty teen that will it chops your head off, but it's like sassy about it and kind of disinterested. I guess I don't know what teens are like anymore.
Sassy. I feel like teens these days are extra.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. I you know what? A guillotine. Yeah. It's a revolutionary. It's leftist. It's, you know, it's good. You know, the kids are all right. I say most of them, not the racist ones, not those ones. Those ones could
those
fuck
kids are
off to hell. But yeah, those are the bad ones.
Yeah.
But God, you know what's wild? Young Republicans, they always style their hair like the old men they admire, they style their hair as if they have comb-overs.
That to me is the weirdest part of it. Is like, don't you see how bad your like the marketing is that you're volunteering to engage in? It's like what you're signing up to look like is like a 50-year-old's idea of a 30-year-old or something. You know, it's like it's so nothing.
It's like that Escher print of the hand drawing the hand with a pencil.
Oh yeah.
Only it's like two hands trying to jack off each other's thumbs.
So if you want to draw that
centaurs.
and send that to us, I think we'll post it on the Twitter. That would be cool.
I guess centaurs, right?
Yeah. So do you want to make them physically different or just change tropes? Because I think it's hard to think of the tropes. So if we maybe just change the form and kind of go from there, that might be something.
So I guess the obvious one is you bojack it.
Yeah.
You know, you just give it a horse head on a human body. But what if it had a human torso and a horse head and also the horse body down below, but it's just got the human torso. It's just like the jacked human body.
I like that. So is that a race then? Because that almost feels like a god or something. I mean, it could be whatever, but
yeah. I like it. What we've described is the thing.
That it feels very primal and violent and carnivorous, like it would eat your head.
It should have sharp teeth, right?
Well, either way, sharp or not, it's definitely eating you.
Yeah, a centaurnivore.
Centaurnivore?
Centaurnivores.
They eat centaurs.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay. These are the predators of centaurs.
Right.
They have the human torso with like a strong body, the torso, but they have the horse head and it has teeth, and it's the devil of centaurs.
Yeah.
It's the thing that they have to be wise because it is like it is the thing that is always trying to beckon them back to the wild.
Damn,
to madness.
Yeah. Right. That's what they've ascended from or are escaping, and it's like their primal evil, like goat Satan-y Baphomet kind of urges, and that's what they're trying to ascend past with their astronomy and archery and such.
Yeah, and also its ears, instead of horse ears, it has human hands. Just like waggling constantly.
Yeah.
That's what it has. I like this. Yeah.
I feel like that almost should be something magic. Like, can the hands do anything?
Yeah, they can. It's a level 3. It's a level 3 spellcaster.
It can cast all level 1 and 2 spells.
Yeah. Actually, God, something like this. Well, I feel like anything over level 3 is going to be. It's because it's obviously also very physically strong.
Sure.
It should probably. Okay. It should have. Dominate. Okay. You know what? It should have dominate beast.
Dominate monster. Yeah.
Yeah. Dominate monster and charm person.
Mm-hmm.
And it should definitely have Tasha's hideous laughter.
Yeah.
And I want to say create water and shape earth.
Okay.
Because it can make difficult terrain.
I want to say confusion. Maybe that's too much, but it just feels like madness kind of adjacent, like or wild kind of mania. Also, like, I don't know. It's just that it just seems funny. It's like you see a centaurnivore.
Power word kill.
Yeah, power. Okay.
It gets one of those a day.
Symbol of death.
Yeah, it gets one power word kill. One power word kill a month.
Okay.
It just gets one. 12 a year.
Everybody gets one. Well, it just has one.
It gets one. Life. Yeah. So it's like, because I like that, because it's sort of like, it's like, I feel like this creature that we've created is very alarming, but it needs to be like, kind of like the monster equivalent of a loaded gun. That's just like, somebody should do something about that, and because of that, it needs to have the spell power word kill.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's fair. I mean, it definitely gets into the idea that it's this evil, ancient, kind of godly, powerful being.
Just real quick, power word kill is a 9th level spell, and what it does is if you cast it on something that has less than 100 hit points, it dies, and that is it. No saves, that's it. If it has more than 100 hit points, it doesn't do anything.
It doesn't do anything?
It doesn't do anything if it has more than 100 hit points. Yeah.
Damn.
It is the D&D equivalent of a gun with a bullet in it that you can shoot once.
Yeah.
It is just I like it because it's kind of like some sorcerers need to, like a sorcerer or wizard, it's like I kind of get the idea that they need to be able to just be like, once they get to 9th level spells, the idea of being like, die, just like they can just do it and that's it.
Yeah, I like the idea that it's so primal. It's like they're finally at the level. It's like they don't have to access necromantic energy. They'll just stop your soul from being.
Yeah, they don't have to create a lightning torrent that you try to dodge out. It's like,
yeah, it's just like ironing a wrinkle or something. Yeah. It's like, nope, smooth that out, and now it's not alive anymore.
And it's not easy. A 9th level spell slot is,
it's as big as it gets.
Yeah, that's about the most like precious resource there is in D&D, I would say.
There's crazy high-level artifacts, but the 9th level spell is like one of the highest holders of power or value that can exist in the entire game, I would say.
Yeah, when you're getting down to something that a 20th level character can only do once a day, you're getting pretty wild.
Yeah, in the epic level handbook for 3.5, it was like about players reaching level 30 and higher. It had so many crazy things, but it had these epic spells in the system to make epic spells very, very interesting. But
like epic teleport. You can teleport anywhere.
It had like different, I think they called them spell seeds. So it'd be a like biological spell seed or chronological spell seed. And then it would have some various parameters, like it could make these trees or something, and then it would have number values, but they were just all so absurd. It's like, here's Doom Ball. It does 40d6 damage or something, like just insane numbers, just really crazy to look at.
God, I've been thinking about Time Stop a lot.
Oh yeah? What level is that?
9th.
Oh, okay.
It's like, because you stop time. Yeah, you stop time for if you use Time Stop, your character immediately gets 1d4 plus 1 turns.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody else stops, and you get to do several more turns.
That's better than it used to be. I think.
But if you affect anyone, it ends. But it means you can do buffs, you can reposition, you can also do delayed blast fireball,
right?
Which is like it's basically the equivalent of setting a little spell bomb that goes off whenever you want, because it's when you end concentration.
What level's delayed blast fireball? 5th level?
7th.
Oh, okay.
7th, I believe.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I think that's it.
So you time stop and then you spend all your spells casting a bunch of delayed blast. Oh,
you
but
can
you can
only do one because
yeah.
it's concentration. But if you do it right after, every one of those time stop turns increases the damage by 1d10.
Mm-hmm.
So then you just really ruin their shit.
You let fly.
All right.
You halt and catch fire.
Yeah, so I guess that's what the Centaurnivore does.
I guess they halt and catch fire, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the Centaurnivore, I don't know. I just like the idea.
That's really good.
I like the idea of a centaur cruising around through life, and then they see a Centaurnivore, and they're like, they look at it. Obviously, that's not what will happen, but they look at it and be like, oh, it's a horse, Like that's what they see as horses, is just centaurs with horse heads.
I guess that is what a centaur would think of a regular horse. God, a centaur, you never really see them interact, huh?
I mean, well, okay, so a centaur would look at a horse and see a human with a head on top of his legs, right?
Yeah, I guess so. It would look like a simpler, stupider thing.
Yeah, it would be a pair of pants.
Well,
just with the head on top.
A centaur would look at a horse, and it would look like a human looking at an ape without its torso.
That's what I'm saying, is pants and then the head, because it's like you don't have the whole what they consider the upper body, just what they consider the legs.
Well, centaurs also don't normally have human heads. I mean, they normally have human heads.
Right.
So they would look at a horse and it'd be upsetting on a lot of levels.
But that's what I mean. That's why it would be the head just stuck to the dick.
Yeah.
Right on the dick.
Right flopping.
Man, flaming skulls are fucking cool. I didn't get a chance to say this, but like, it's so cool. I mean, this is happening more in D&D, but the idea that they just have like these monsters that are these cool conceptual monsters, and now it's stat in D&D, because like, of course someone was like, oh, I want to do a flaming skull and stuff, but like, and I think there might have been rules for them before, but like the flaming skull is just like, I don't know, it's something you'd find in a bunch. There might be a bunch in a dungeon, or like some evil demon might summon a couple and they're like spinning around and laughing. Yeah. It's just like a really cool concept, and then now there's very satisfying rules put to it.
Yeah, and they can do fireball.
Mm-hmm.
And they can only cast, so watch out for that.
Oh yeah, because
they can cast fireball or lightning bolt, Spencer. Put it to the people.
My preference.
Yeah, you get them both. They're both level 3 spells.
Yeah.
Which do you prefer?
Well, fireball is better. Lightning bolt is like a precise firebolt, but that's why it's worse, because it is harder to hit multiple targets with a lightning bolt than a fireball, and that's the
Fireball
good thing.
can go around corners.
Right. That's the good and the bad thing,
Here's the thing. I like lightning bolt better, but I think it's because my DM rarely sets up clusters of monsters.
Right.
So I can usually position myself such that I can always position, because it's like, as you say, it's like any two objects exist in a line.
Right.
So I can position myself such that I can hit 2, maybe 3 people with a lightning bolt. It is hard to hit somebody with a fireball. Also, our DM, we finished the campaign and we got some good rewards. Connell got a staff that lets him speak Abyssal, and also like cast like a mass charm person.
Damn.
Over like 20 people or something. It's a little more specific than that. Basically, it's like that. It's and it lasts for like a while, or like a day or.
Is it hypnotic pattern? Or
no, it's
charm.
I'll bring in the thing next
Okay.
time and I'll read it. It's really good. But our cleric got a thing that makes them immune to lightning. So now I can attack them and whoever they're engaging with the lightning bolt, and they won't get hurt.
Right.
So
that's like the problem with fireballs. It's very easy to blow up your friends, but a lot of times that depends on the DM.
Yeah, well, and if I think a lot of people go evocation wizard these days, which gives you spell shaping, which means that your friends automatically succeed on or like they get advantage or automatically succeed on saving throws.
That's badass.
On your spells, and if they succeed, they take no damage.
That's for wizards, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorcerers, not so much.
Nah, they get meta magic.
Yeah, it's good shit.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, are we approaching the end of our campaign?
Yeah, I mean, we are. The only problem is we're not close enough to the McDonald's. Do you see that, Cohen? It's McDonald's.
It's McDonald's.
You know what that means? It's time for the end of our drive to work. No, that's the Magic the Gathering podcast. You should listen to the Magic the Gathering Drive to Work podcast. It's very good.
Yeah, it's real good.
But no, we're at the McDonald's, which means we're going to go through, and I think we could potentially get arrested for recording or something without consent. Yeah. I don't know.
We could certainly be charged with being irritating to somebody who's just trying to get through their Saturday.
They got us dead to rights.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you have any questions, mastermanualpod@gmail.com, right?
Yeah. Wait, do we ever introduce ourselves?
Not traditionally.
Okay, you're Spencer Crittenden. I'm Cohen Edenfield.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well,
what else? We have a Discord at the Sixler at Skull Mandible.
Yes.
Other social medias are the same things.
Yes.
What does that mean?
It means you can find me on Instagram at Skull Mandible if you want. I don't use it a lot.
And you know what that means?
What's that mean?
It looks like we booked it again.
Looks like we booked it again.
Mastery.
Mastery is manual. Hey, there's a bus that says Diva on it. Fun. Party bus. Bye.
And just a bunch of motorcycles, too. Bye.
Su navi per mari, che io lo so, non esistono più. Con te io li rivivrò, con te partirò.